Over the last 2 years, we've had quite a few changes going on at Yukon College, and we've been building this thing called the Yukon Research Center, which is now sort of our umbrella research department for the college. And we've hired a VP of research, and we've got a number of directors now, and the shop has gone from a one-person shop, which was me back in '98, to about 7 or 8 full-time employees, and we're housing about anywhere from 20 to 25 people in the new administrative facilities that we have that just opened in 2009. So it's changed a lot, and we are growing. And I'm going to concentrate on services and sort of what we have been trying to become in the last 2 years. And we've also been the beneficiary of the Arctic Research Infrastructure Fund and built some infrastructure, which is exciting. And we had not also been able to give folks sort of basic services as a research sort of entity or institute at the college. And we are now able to do that, which again is exciting. So we'll just go to the next slide. So we provide and will provide a number of services to researchers in the coming years. So we've always done research administration, and we've done logistics, and a number of the things you see there. So expertise, partnerships, human resources, and we can do that better now. We actually have space for students. In the last year and a half, we've probably provided support for over 20 students, so that's undergraduate to graduate folks, in all kinds of different disciplines, from philosophy of physics to natural environmental issues, forensics, northern forensics, just a number of things. So we're kind of all over the place, but we are open for business. And we also are developing programs to be really student-centered. Starting with the college and college students, we're beginning a BSc program with the University of Alberta. So we're looking at ways to get those folks into research and doing research projects at the college. And we're also working with a number of our partner institutions down south to have master's and PhD students come up, and working on ways that we can either limit or get rid of certain residency requirements, so they can actually do, especially people from the Yukon, do their master's and PhD at Yukon College from the different institutions that we work with, University of Alberta, UNBC, and others. So those are all working great. Also developing different programs, adjunct and research associate programs, so people can work with us. Again, we're concentrating on capacity that's already in the Yukon, people that work with the government and private researchers in the community. So this is a way that we can gain capacity while also giving them benefits of the actual research center, either space or going after funding that might not be available to them outside of the college. So we are Tri-Council eligible, so that's SSHRC and INSERC, and CIHR, which is exciting as well. So we're looking at various programs under those different granting agencies, which most of you are aware of. And we're also developing various, through the ARIF program, the infrastructure program, we did build space for collections. Now we're working with government and others to develop those collections, herbariums and other items, natural history items, and we see that as being a big draw to the research center and to the college and to the Yukon as well for folks coming in. And also databases and servers hosting a number of data sets, either environmental data, weather, and we are working on a number of large projects with Northwest and others to put in weather collecting devices at all their microwave towers in the Yukon, and getting some more ground, so basically ground and baseline data, again, which we think is very important to continued research in the Yukon and going forward. Next slide, please. So this is just a list of infrastructure that we now have, and as of 2 years ago we didn't have, besides of course the larger Yukon College facility. But these are specific now to the Yukon Research Center. And just like Mary Ellen, we now have the ability to provide these to folks. And like I said, we've provided support to over 20 students, again, through various employment opportunities. And some of them have just, basically right off the street, and friends of friends, these people want to come to the Yukon. We've got a woman from England at the institution now, and she wants to stay another year. Things like that, just word of mouth and people sitting at desks. And through that, we're starting a brown bag lunch speaker series. The students are going to start us off. We'll get into our adjunct and other researchers as well as we go forward. That's exciting, just to show folks, both our own students and faculty and folks in the community, that we are supporting research and that there are things happening. And so next slide, please. So the Yukon Research Center is made up of a number of programs. These are the main programs. So we have two applied research programs, and it's cold climate innovations and technology innovations. They are working on applied research for cold climates and working with industry and businesses to do so. We've of course got RESDA and Cernoka. We're doing some pretty major permafrost research with highways and public works, as well as Laval University on highway infrastructure and building infrastructure. And we also have a pretty major heading under climate change, and this is mitigation, adaptation, and information as well for folks about climate change in the Yukon specifically and the North. And also Youth Science Adventures, which is a program getting young people basically interested in furthering education and science. So that sort of makes up the Yukon Research Center, and provides a number of opportunities for students and faculty from other institutions to be partnered with the Yukon Research Center and Yukon College on various activities and research. And next slide. So what we see ourselves being is a service center, and we see these all of these programs and services coming together to facilitate research in the North, and we hope that we can be a driver for that research and continuing on with various degree programs and students as the college itself grows, and hoping to expand that research as well in the areas that we're specifically concentrating on. And like I said, we're not leaving any sort of corners or doors unopened. We're willing to look at things like philosophy of physics. In fact, this fellow Mark is doing the first talk at the college next week, and he's talking about time and whether it's real. So that should be interesting. And I just ended this with a couple slides of the new facilities, so we'll just flip through. That's the new lab and collections building and work area. And the next slide, that's a picture of the lab. Not a whole bunch going on in there right now. And this was the original NRI, Northern Research Institute offices that were built back in '91, and we were able to take some of our ARIF money and develop it into a residence. So now we have a researcher residence, which has been full since we opened it in April of this year. We've had students, faculty from outside, as well as some new employees that have come to the territory and had it found hard to find a place to stay. So we're got a place for folks. So yeah, it's exciting. This has 4 double beds in it, and it's a full self-service residence. Again, we never had this, so it's pretty exciting to be able to provide these services for folks as we go forward and to facilitate research. Thank you.